Hello all. So today we will discuss about the introduction of nervous system. Nervous system is one of the most important systems in our body, and it is a system which controls each and every organ there in the body. Each and every organ, each and every tissue, each and every gland, each and every cell is under the control of nervous system. It is the governing system which governs the whole body. Each and every sensory and motor activity of the body is controlled by nervous system. Nervous system controls each and every activity of the body. It is the governing system. This nervous system is again divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So this central nervous system, it mainly includes the brain and spinal cord, and whereas the peripheral nervous system, it includes the nerves which are arising from the brain and spinal cord, that is cranial nerves as well as spinal nerves. So here you can see the distribution of nervous system. Nervous system is divided into central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. Central nervous system, it includes brain and spinal cord, and peripheral nervous system, it includes the nerves which are arising from the brain as well as the nerves which are arising from the spinal cord, and they are reaching to the peripheral part away from the central nervous system. So this peripheral nervous system is again divided into autonomic nervous system and somatic nervous system. This autonomic nervous system, it is responsible for controlling the organs. That is why it is also called as visceral nervous system or vegetative nervous system, which is again divided into sympathetic division and parasympathetic division. Whereas the somatic nervous system is mainly responsible for controlling the somatic functions, or it is responsible for controlling the muscles, and that is why it is responsible for all the motor activities of the body. So here you can see the central nervous system, which includes brain and spinal cord. Now brain is situated inside the skull, and brain has got, this is the skull is the covering of the brain. It is a bony covering which covers to the brain here, and brain has got mainly two types of cells here. It includes neurons as well as neuroglia. So here mainly two types of cells are there, which are the neurons. Neurons are the main structural and functional unit of nervous system, whereas the supporting cells are the neuroglia. Neuroglia are the mainly supporting cells here. They are only supporting to the neurons here. They also have got other functions, neuroglia. They are mainly responsible for the secretion of myelin sheath and some other, they have got some structural functions here. But the main functional cells which are responsible for the transmission of impulses are the neurons here. So neurons are the structural and functional unit of nervous system. So both brain as well as spinal cord, they contain these cells which are there in the brain, mainly the neurons. They are arranged in two layers. One is the gray matter and white matter. So this gray matter, it mainly it means it mainly contains the nerve cell bodies and the proximal parts of the nerve fibers, the initial part of the nerve fiber or the axons here. So mainly it contains the nerve cell bodies, which is the cytoplasm of the neuron, and it contains the proximal part of nerve fibers. Whereas the white matter, it mainly contains the remaining part here. It contains the remaining part of nerve fibers, that is the distal part of the neuron here. Now this brain is situated If you see the situation of the gray matter and white matter, in brain, the white matter is situated inside and the gray matter is situated outside. In brain, the white matter is situated inside and the gray matter is situated outside. And whereas in case of spinal cord, the white matter is situated inside and the gray matter is situated outside. This is how is the location of gray matter and white matter in brain and spinal cord. Now brain as well as spinal cord, they have got coverings. They are protected by two layers of covering. One is the bony layer. In brain is protected by a bony layer, that is skull. Brain is situated inside the skull, and this brain, it continues as spinal cord. From medulla oblongata, it continues as spinal cord. When it continues as spinal cord, this spinal cord is also protected by the bony covering, that is vertebra. These are the vertebral bodies which are covering to the spinal cord. So this brain, it comes out through the foramina magnum of the skull and it continues as spinal cord, and this spinal cord is protected by the vertebral canal here. This brain as well as spinal cord, first one, they are protected by the bony layer and also they are covered by meninges here. There are three layers of meninges. The outermost layer is the dura mater, then the middle layer is arachnoid mater, and the innermost layer is the pia mater. Now the space between the dura mater and the pia mater is called as the subarachnoid space. The space between the dura mater and the pia mater is called as subarachnoid space, and this space is filled with a fluid called as cerebrospinal fluid. So this cerebrospinal fluid is covering to both the brain as well as the spinal cord, and it gives a cushioning effect to the brain as well as spinal cord. Here you can see the divisions of brain. Brain is again divided into three parts. It is called as prosencephalon, mesencephalon and rhombencephalon. Prosencephalon or forebrain, it is again divided into telencephalon and diencephalon. Telencephalon, it includes cerebral hemisphere, basal ganglia, hippocampus and amygdaloid nucleus. Whereas diencephalon, it includes thalamus, hypothalamus, metathalamus and subthalamus. Mesencephalon is nothing but the midbrain, and rhombencephalon is hindbrain. This hindbrain, it includes metencephalon and myelencephalon. Metencephalon is nothing but pons and cerebellum, and myelencephalon is nothing but medulla oblongata. So here you can see the cerebral hemisphere. This one is the cerebral hemispheres here. Yes, and then you can also see here the diencephalonic structures here. Below the cerebral hemisphere you can see hypothalamus. Here you can see the hypothalamus, thalamus, metathalamus, subthalamus, and here you can see the structures here. Here you can see this one is the midbrain, then next to midbrain there is pons, and here there is medulla oblongata, and this one is cerebellum. So here midbrain, pons and medulla oblongata, these three structures together, they are called as brainstem. And then from medulla oblongata, this brainstem continues as spinal cord from medulla oblongata onwards. The next thing is about the peripheral nervous system. Peripheral nervous system, these are the nerves which are arising from the brain as well as the spinal cord. The nerves which are arising from the brain are called as cranial nerves, and those which are arising from the spinal cord, they are called as spinal nerves. So these nerves are arising from brain and spinal cord, and reaching to distant organs and tissues, and they will form the peripheral nervous system. This peripheral nervous system is again divided into somatic nervous system and autonomic nervous system, as we have already discussed earlier. So somatic nervous system is mainly responsible for the somatic functions. So it is mainly responsible for controlling the muscles. So it is responsible for muscular activity and it controls the movements of the body. So somatic nervous system controls the contraction and relaxation of muscles. It is mainly responsible for controlling all the muscular activities of the body. Whereas autonomic nervous system, it is also called as visceral nervous system. It is mainly responsible for controlling the organs here. That is why it is called as vegetative nervous system or involuntary nervous system, which is again divided into two divisions. One is sympathetic division and parasympathetic division. Sympathetic division, it includes the thoracolumbar outflow. It means the nerves which are originating from the thoracic segment and lumbar segment of the spinal cord. And parasympathetic division, it includes the craniosacral outflow. It means the nerves which are originating from the brain and sacral segment of spinal cord. So this sympathetic division and parasympathetic division, they are functioning opposite to each other. If sympathetic division increases the secretion or function of any organ, then parasympathetic division will decrease or decrease the function of that organ or decrease the secretion of that organ. So that is how they will control or they will regulate the functions of a particular organ. So this is in brief about the introduction to nervous system. Thank you.